All right. Good evening once more, and welcome to ReThink Tech. Uh, we bringing you a weekly podcast that I have with captioned ReThink Tech Hour, and ReThink Tech Hour comes on every week, and it's a weekly podcast that I get to the practical integration of our technology into our everyday lives and professional environments. And each week we will be diving into specific technology applications, ranging from operating systems to application softwares, and we will focus on how we can use those tools to enhance our proficiency and understanding of technology, right? And then the episode is designed to give us a much an in-depth examination of different technology tools, technological tools, uh, where we'll be offering our listeners hands-on experience or hands-on learning experience of different technology and different tools. We'll explore the functionalities and nuances of different application software and operating systems. And our goal is to just equip our audience, excuse me, to equip our audience with the knowledge and skills needed uh, to navigate these different platforms and applications that we have out there. Reaching Tech Hour is more than just a podcast. Uh, we will discuss real life applications of technologies, emphasizing how those we can use them to improve efficiency and elevating the quality of the work that we do in various professional settings. If you find yourself as a teacher, if you find yourself as an accountant, if you find yourself as a salesperson, if you find yourself as a teacher, if you find yourself working in an environment where you have to use technology, if you find yourself as a trainer, like how do you use technology to enhance and make your work and make your life more efficient and your work more effective. So I'll just invite you to join us as we uncover the potential of technology in shaping our daily tasks and professional pursuits. Whether you are looking to enhance your tech skills or seeking insights into the latest IT trends and applications, ReThink Tech Hour is a gateway to the ever evolving technology. So stay tuned as we bring you that technology tech hour, ReThink Tech Hour. And tonight we will be beginning with just a basic introduction to computer skills, where we have captioned introduction to basic computer skills. And we'll be diving into the basic of computer systems and information technology. What are the basic computer skills we need? What are the basic components of the computer systems? And giving us a little bit more understanding and in-depth knowledge about those things. This is for all of this is quite important for us to have a basic understanding of the computer system. So that's why we are beginning with that segment with that topic. Just giving us a basic understanding of what a computer system is. Uh, Assuming you want to buy a computer for work, for school, or for some you're a graphic designer, you're an artist, you're a musician, you're an accountant, and you do different kind of work. But you want to buy a computer system. What guides that process? How do you know the kind of system that you need to buy? What's the specification? Someone tell you that a computer has a memory of 8 gigabyte or has a memory of 16 32 gigabyte. What does that mean to you in terms of your work? How does that translate to your work and how it applies to the kind of work that you do using your computer system, right? So you have to have that basic understanding. You want to use a particular setting or work in a particular environment. What kind of application software we need if I am an accountant? What kind of application software will help me to enhance my work and to work more proficiently? If I'm a teacher, right, and I want to use IT, I want to integrate IT into my teaching, into my professional life. what kind of applications are out there that I can use as a teacher to enhance my teaching professional, to enhance my role as a teacher, to help me to excuse me, to help me to effectively and efficiently grade like student papers, right? So what kind of applications are out there that I can use as a teacher? So those are the kind of things we'll be diving into. And that's why the introduction to basic computer skills is quite important, because that gives you the foundation that you need in order to start to build upon it, in order to understand the computer system as you go further to your IT endeavor. So as you dive a little bit more deeper into IT, and we will be having a segment every week where we discuss different topics. So I'm just beginning with the basic introduction to computers. We'll be looking at Microsoft Word in depth. We'll be looking at Microsoft Excel. We'll be looking at PowerPoint. We'll be taking a little bit of deep dive into Microsoft Access, which is for managing databases and the rest of the stuff. So we got some good stuff in store for you. And if you're not tuning into our podcast right now and you're going to watch it later, you can watch it at your own time. You can watch it at your own convenience, but it's going to be available online that you can also watch later on, right? So let's not waste much time. Let's just dive into our session for today that we've captured introduction to basic computer skills. And I am your presenter, and I will be your host tonight, your Toze, and I am a member of ReThink Tech Foundation. Okay, and ReThink Tech Foundation is a non-profit organization that is into the business of helping to bridge the digital divide that exists between developed world and the undeveloped world, or the developing world, so to speak. And specifically, we are currently working in Liberia, West Africa, where we host conferences, we host seminars with high schools, junior high schools, and stakeholders and teachers, to just give them awareness and insight into what technology is and how we can integrate technology into our learning environment, and how we can help the students to learn about information technology and how they can be applied to their lives while they are in school and after high school, how technology can be used in different sectors and different areas of our life. So that is what we do. We are also involved with helping to establish computer labs for schools and communities, that students in the community can take advantage of our lab, and learn basic computer skills. All right. So that's just a little bit of background about ReThink Tech Foundation. Let's move in. Let's dive a little bit deeper into our topic for today. So in this section, we'll cover a lot of topic. We'll cover the introduction to basic computer skills. We will talk about the basis of computer literacy, why it is important. We will look at the different type of computers. We'll look at the desktop computer, the laptop computer, the tablet, the phone. We'll look at the basic parts of the computer and how they all function. We'll look at we'll be talking about the understanding the input and output devices. We'll be looking at the difference between computer hardware and the computer software. We'll be looking at types of software. We have the system software and the application software. What's the difference between those two type of softwares? And then we'll be looking at the introduction to operating systems. We'll be looking at the intro to Windows, Mac operating systems, and Linux. And we'll be looking at what the role of an operating system is when it comes to operating your computer system. What role does the operating system play? And we're looking at the features of different operating systems. So we're looking at the features of Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. But because those are the three major operating systems that you'll find, there are other operating systems you'll find on the market, but some are for specific uses and use cases in different environment and where you find yourself. But the most widely generally used purpose operating system are the Windows operating system, which almost everybody know about Windows. The next will be the Mac OS, which is the second line, and the third is Linux, which is an open source operating system. And then we'll be learning how to navigate around the operating system interface, and we'll have the introduction to software applications. What are software applications and the different types of software applications that we have? So those are what we have lined up for tonight that we will be covering in this section. So stay tuned, sit tight, wherever you find yourself. Let's dive deep and get a little bit of understanding of all of these topics that we've outlined for us tonight or this morning, whether you might find yourself right in somewhere in Africa and Liberia. I know they just breaking out there. It's like 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. But where in my part of the world where I'm currently, it's like 11 p.m. at night. So this course is designed to introduce learners to the fundamental computer skills, fundamental, the basic computer skills. All right, we'll cover a range of topics from computer software to computer hardware to operating systems to file management. How do I use the internet? How do I use emails? Right, and we have a clear goal in mind. And our goal is that at the end of this course, learners will have an understanding of the basic computer systems and the components and feel confident in using the computer for basic tasks such as browsing the internet, sending email, and more. So this course is specifically designed for beginners or for those who are looking to refresh their basic computer skills. So welcome to the first part of our introduction. So basic computer literacy. Why is it important? Why is basic computer literacy important? Computer literacy refers to the ability of one or an individual to use computers and its related technology competently. There's a key word we're looking at that competently. So it's not just being able to use the computer system, but you must be able to use it competently. And when you say competently, that means you are able to accomplish a particular task efficiently and effectively using the computer system, right? And it is a fundamental skill in today's digital age, and it's often the basic requirements that many jobs and academic for many jobs and academic programs. So I've once said before in one of our podcasts that there's not a job that you're going to go and apply for today that you're not going to be asked if you are computer literate, if you know basic computer, if you know Microsoft Word, or you know Microsoft Excel, or you have basic computer skills. Because every business, every institution, no matter small, big size, where we go, they are utilizing computer in some form of action, right? So you need to have a basic understanding and a basic skill set and how computer system work and how to use a computer system. So if that job requires you to have a basic Word competency and Excel competency or skill set, and you don't have that, you're going to forfeit that job to another applicant who have those set of skills. So you realize that it is quite important that we we have that understanding that we know or have those skill sets when it comes to computer literacy. So it's quite important because we live in a digital world and everything about our work and our lives is all integrated, it's all computer. So from work to our education and to personal communication, entertainment, computers play a very vital role. It is not just about using a device, but it's about connecting with the world. It's about enhancing your skills and even expanding your career opportunities I just spoke about. If you have computer skill, I have a friend of mine who, from those days in Ghana, he did some computer classes. He did Excel, he did Word, he did PowerPoint. And that was the early 2000s. And he got to like around 2002 or 2003. And he got a job with the Ministry of Finance only because he knew Excel. And by then, they were using Excel for a lot of work, data analysis and a lot of stuff, but he knew understood Excel and he understood well. So he got a job just because he knew Microsoft Excel, right? So that goes to tell you that it expands and it gives you a wide range of opportunity to be able to utilize the skill and it'll be marketable on the job market if you have a computer skills or if you have a basic understanding of how computer system work and you equip yourself with those business skills that you need. So it is quite important. So that's why computer literacy is very, very important in this day and age. That every individual everyone in high school, in junior high, in colleges need to sharpen those skills, need to acquire those skills because once you get out there on the job market, those skills become very important. And the next topic will be different type of computers that we all probably know about. We know about the laptops. These are the laptops here where my mouse is just moving around. They're portable. First, the desktop computers known for its power and flexibility. It is great choice for heavy duty tasks like graphic designing or gaming. Laptop, they are very portable, they are very compact. You can take them wherever you want to go. So when computers started, they started with mainframes and very huge computers, stored in locker rooms, so you couldn't take them anywhere, right? So they designed a desktop computer which you could just fit on your desktop, right? And you could just put it on tables and desks all over the place. But I realized that, well, what if I want to be home and I want to work from home? I want to take this thing along when I'm going somewhere. I have a file on this system that I want to utilize when I get to the meeting where I'm going to. Like, how do I do that? That's how laptops came into being, came in the smaller size and the smaller version of it that is very portable that you can take along with you everywhere you want to go, right? And if you're on the go, you can open your laptop on the train, on the bus, on the car, wherever you're sitting, you find yourself sitting for prolonged hours, you can pop up your laptop and you can still work from the business, right? So that's the beauty of having, a laptop. Then came the tablets, right? And these are more portable and great for casual use, like browsing the web, reading, and watching videos. So if you just need something that you can browse the internet, or you just want to be reading some articles and some reports and stuff, then the iPad is a good choice for you. If you sit on a train ride for 2 3 hours or on the airplane for 2 3 hours, you have the iPad, you have the report to read, and it's portable. You can just pop that up and you can use that to read, right? So that's how the tablet came. So each type has a unique advantages, and the best choice depends on your needs. So based on what you want to do and what your needs are, and then you can either decide to purchase a laptop, a desktop, or a tablet for your personal use or your daily use, or whatever the case may be. Some places, some people, they have all. I don't have a desktop computer right now, but some people do at home. They have a desktop computer, they have a laptop, and they have tablets. Based on what they do at that time, they can either use the desktop, laptop, tablet, or whatever they want to use based on what's going on at that moment, or at that point in time. Then we'll be looking at the basic parts of the computer system. The computers have different parts, and these parts they all function or work together to accomplish our task, or to help us to accomplish the kind of task that we want to accomplish. The computer has what we call the CPU. It has the RAM. I'm just showing the major components of the computer system right now. And it have the computer hard drive. So basically what I'm showing you right now are just the memory or the storage and the storage devices that the computer has, and the processing power, or the component that is responsible for processing your data. And what that means, processing your data, is if I want to add 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, which part of the computer system is responsible for that, for performing that particular calculation or performing that particular task? That would be the CPU, or the central processing unit. So the central processing unit is responsible for processing data, for transforming our information or whatever data we put into the computer and giving us an output that we desire, or that we ask it to give us out. And your hard drive, this is the computer hard drive, the one I'm just running my mouse with the big white with the white label on there. That's the computer hard drive. That's the permanent storage device. If I've done my presentation and I want to store it on the computer system to come back the next day and retrieve it, I have to store it on the permanent storage device. And that storage device is what I refer to as the computer hard drive. And the next will be the RAM. The RAM is what we refer to as the random access memory. It's random because when the computer is processing data, it's the temporary storage that holds data while your CPU is processing. Once the CPU is done processing one instruction, the RAM sends the next set of instructions to the CPU to be processed, and then the process continue on and on because the CPU cannot process all of your instructions at the same time. So the RAM holds the temporarily holds the next set of instructions for the CPU to process. So the RAM is very, very important when it comes to the computer system. If you have a very limited RAM or your RAM is not, you don't have a lot of RAM in your system, the system will be very slow. So the RAM and the CPU they work hand in hand. If you have a very fast CPU but a slow RAM, or a RAM that doesn't have a lot of capacity, the CPU is not going to process a lot of data, because the CPU, the RAM is listening 10 at a time, the CPU can process 100, right? So it don't work hand in hand. So the RAM and the CPU go hand in hand. So the more RAM you have, the more memory you have to temporarily hold a large amount of group of data in there. That's how the RAM sends it to the CPU for processing. So when you want to buy a computer system or you want to buy a device based upon what kind of tasks or you be using the computer for, what kind of work environment. Let's say the graphic design, right? You're a graphic designer and you try to get a system for your graphic design job or whatever you gotta do, right? You need a computer that has a very large amount of RAM because graphic designing takes a lot of memory. It takes up a lot of space. So you need a lot of RAM space. If the RAM space is not enough, the system is very slow. And sometimes you see some slow computers and you send instructions to them like that because the RAM or the memory is not large enough to hold a lot of instructions or data to send to the CPU. So it sends them bit by bit, bit by bit because the capacity of the RAM or the random access memory is not large enough. So you have to watch out for that if you're going to buy the computer. And then the hard drive is the permanent storage, right? If you want more storage, you'll be storing a lot of data for retrieval at a later date. Then you can have more hard drive space in your computer. But these days you can have an external hard drive that are outside the computer system that more portable they can take around with you everywhere you want to go. I do have one external hard drive that I do travel with a lot. Download my pictures and other stuff on it from my phone and then just keep it on there instead of uh, loading my phone with pictures and stuff like that. So you have an external on your hard drive that you can, portable one that you can take around because the solid drive is a the system, you can take that out to carry on, right? So you can also get an external hard drive. And then the computer system also comes with your monitor, your keyboard, your mouse, and lots of other devices, right? And these are the essential parts that make up the computer system. And then we'll be learning about the output devices, the input devices, sorry for that, the input devices. So the input devices, in order for the computer to process information or to process data, there has to be a way to send that data to the computer system to process. So the devices that we use to send the data to the computer for processing are called input devices. And input devices come in many different forms, different types, and different shapes. And I'm talking to you currently, I'm using the input device of a mouse, a microphone, which is capturing my voice. And I'm using a digital camera. I'm using a webcam that is capturing my picture that you can see me on there. That's an input device for capturing my live image. And I have the keyboard. That's one of the major input devices that a computer have is the keyboard. If I want to type my text, enter numbers, then I can use the keyboard. The mouse is another form of input device that a computer has. But the input is stands for clicking, double clicking, and giving instructions to the computer. Then I have a scanner. The scanner is now, while it's still in use these days because of phone, the scanner is kind of going away a little bit. But the scanner those days was very, very important. I used the scanner a lot in the early 2000s. Like people, we were doing wedding programs, graduation programs that have pictures in those brochures and your program sheet. We'll use the scanner and scan the picture onto the computer. Then we input that picture into the document in Microsoft Word that we're designing, or in Draw, or whatever application we're using. Then we'll input the picture in there. So the major source of getting the picture onto the computer those days was through the scanner. But these days, you can take a picture with your phone and then connect it to your computer, have access load it onto your computer. You don't have to print the picture to scan it. So that's why you don't see a lot of scanners these days. But that is an input device that was widely used in the early stages, or made with with the computer system and stuff like that. So the next set of devices we're looking at will be the output devices. If you are hearing or listening to me right now, or you'll be listening to me on another date, you might be using your phone, you might be using your computer monitor or your laptop screen to watch this video as it's being recorded and you are replaying it, right? So that's output. I'm sitting here and I'm importing my voice, my live video, and the data you see on your computer screen. But in order for you to see it on your screen, you need the output devices to be able to see it. So your monitor gives that to you. If you want to see audio, then you use your microphone, use the speakers, or use a headphone to hear audio or to hear my voice. Or you can use the speakers on the computer. If you want a hard copy of the data that's on the computer or the information, then you can use your printer, right? So these are all what we refer to as output devices. And output devices help you to retrieve or to get the information from the computer, either in a hard copy or in a soft copy. Hard copy are what we bring from the printer. Soft copy is just what we're looking at on the screen. It's referred to as a soft copy. And then next we'll be looking at the difference between a computer hardware and a computer software. And as you might know and might be inclined to think, hardware refers to the physical component of the computer system, and the software refers to the software part, the intangible part of the computer system. The ones that we cannot touch, we cannot feel, we can only see, like our software applications, our operating systems. Those are all softwares. And the hardware are the keyboard, the mouse, the microphone, the camera I'm using, my hard drive, my memory, my CPU, my power supply. Those are all computer hardware. Those are the physical parts of the computer system. And the software are just the basic set of instructions that tells the computer what it needs to do. If I want to type a letter, I have to use a set of instructions to tell the computer, can you underline my heading for me? Can you make it bold? Can you give it a color green? And those sort of things, right? Those are referred to that application I'm using, or what I'm using to do all those things is the software. So the physical component refers to the hardware. So that's the basic difference between the computer software. And next, we'll explore the different types of software and what they are used for. And we have the system software and the application software. And this is very important to have an understanding of what the system software is and the difference between the application software. Right? They all have a general theme or general title called softwares. But if you can break it down further, we have on the more general level, we have the system software and application software. Now, what are the system software? Well, system software is the foundation of the computer. It includes the operating system like Windows or Mac OS and other essential programs that manage the computer hardware and basic functions. So think about system software as the backstage crew of a theater, making sure everything runs smoothly, though often out of sight. That's an analogy to just describe to us what the system software is. So the basic function of the system software is that it manages the computer hardware and the basic functioning of the computer system. So what enables my microphone to connect to the streaming software that I'm using, the operating system or the system software makes that possible. What allows me to change the volume or to adjust the volume on my microphone and on my speaker on the computer system. What enabled me to be able to install my printer, and my printer, I want to print a sheet of paper to connect to the computer to be able to print that sheet of paper. The operating system or the system software provides that connection between the computer hardware and enables them to communicate effectively and efficiently. So the system software enables all our connected devices to communicate seamlessly. You don't see it because they're in the background. Like they give the analogy with the backstage crew with the theater, right? All you see and all we see are people performing on the stage. But all you know that tens of people behind stage making how we make sure that the crew on stage is performing seamlessly. We do not see them directing, but they are the background and they've set up everything and everything is working smoothly. That's why if you are performing on the stage and something goes wrong, you realize that a crew comes on the back to either adjust the microphone or to adjust the light or to adjust something, right? But when everything is working smoothly, you don't see them. They just, because they set everything up, everything's working smoothly, so they are the background. But when something goes wrong, then they step in to make sure that to rectify what the problem or for that, they just say so that the system can continue running smoothly. So that's the rule of the operating system, or that's the rule of the system software. And that different system software from different manufacturers and different people that is sown from HP, IBM, VMware, Apple, Oracle, Windows, Linux, and just a ton of them out there, right? So those are all different uh, system software from different companies and different technology companies on the market. And some are for specific purposes, using specific application, and using specific institutions that you might not even have access to or you might not even see unless you are working in a specific industry or you're working in a particular system. But for general purpose use, we have like the Windows, we have Linux, we have Mac OS, right? And then what are application software? We just learned a little bit about system software. So application software is the system software, and the meat on the bone is actually the application software, right? These are what you actually use to get a specific task accomplished. For example, I want to send an email. I cannot use the operating system to send or system software to send an email. So I would need an application software like Gmail, Microsoft Outlook, and Yahoo, and the rest of my outlet, right? So application software are the specific kind of particular software that we use to get a specific task accomplished. It could be sending an email, it could be recording music, it could be working using in the doctor's office to record patient information, it could be to print a letter, it could be to do a database, it could be to do my budget. So those are all different type of application uses of application software. I'm using application software to perform specific tasks, right? So both types are crucial. System software keeps your computer running, while application software lets you perform specific tasks. So system software will keep your computer system running very smoothly, and the application software will allow you to perform specific tasks. Let's take a closer look at operating systems. Introduction to operating system. Windows. Mac OS, and Linux. In this section, we introduce you to Mac operating system, the heart of the system software. The most common operating systems are Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Each has its own unique features and user experience. They're all operating system, but they come in different flavors and they come with different experience user experience, right? Like we have different brands of singles and different brands of everything else in the world that we have today, right? So we have different brands of operating systems, and they all have different features. You provide us different user experience based on what you want to do and what kind of experience you're looking for. But the first is Windows is known for its wide compatibility and is used widely in business and personal computers. So Windows, I know we all heard about Windows before. Windows 98, Windows Me, Windows XP, Windows 97, and then the list goes on and on for Microsoft. It's the most widely used operating system out there, both for businesses and for personal use. Almost every PC you buy has or comes with Microsoft Windows, for Windows, with some version of Windows installed, personal used. The next is the Mac OS, the operating system from Apple computers. It's praised for its sleek design and integrate with other Apple devices. So Apple is very unique in its own ways. Uh, the the operating system from Apple is called the Macintosh operating system. It's very unique. It's very sleek, and most of the time it will work with Apple devices. So you can really integrate Apple, OS with other systems that easily. So it's very difficult to do that. But it's a very but it's not as widely used as Windows is used. And finally, with the three major OSs operating system, we have Linux. It's an open source. Open source means you can modify it. You can change the operating system source code and have a different version or flavor of the operating system into what you want it to be and what kind of tasks you want it to perform for you. So it is free to use and modify. It's popular among programmers and those who like to customize their OS. So if you want to customize your operating system, then you can use the Linux. Linux is going to be very good for you because you wanted to perform some task that you wanted to perform. Not what it's like. You go into a tailor to make you a suit, right? Versus just buying a suit that's already made. You can't do much about it. So if you go to a tailor to make you a suit, you can customize the suit the way you want it to be. You can put pocket on the back or what you want to do because that's how you want to customize it. So with Linux, you can customize the OS or the operating system to do what tasks you want it to do and how you want it to be. So that's the difference between Linux and both Windows and Mac OS. It's open source. You can customize it. But you cannot customize Windows easily because it can't built as it is. Though if you go at a much deeper, higher level, you can be able to customize Windows and Mac OS to do certain things for you. But each operating system has its loyal fans, and the best choice depends on your needs and preferences. So each of the OS, people are loyal to certain brand in the market, and will use certain, operating system. They'll not use certain operating system because just the preference of people. I prefer Windows. I use Mac sometimes, but I'm not a big fan of Mac. Others are. They use the Mac for anything else. So person, so to speak. But it's just what it is. And then we'll be looking a little bit more at the role of an operating system. So in this section, we'll explore this fascinating world of operating system. Let's start by understanding the role of an operating system. We're digging a little bit deeper in the operating system because it's very, very important to understand the role that operating system plays within a computer system. Because if you don't, you might mess up your computer if you mess with the operating system. So an operating system is like the conductor of an orchestra. It manages all the software and hardware on your computer. So the software that manages all the hardware and the other software on your computer and allows them to interact and communicate seamlessly that you don't even see, you don't even notice. It's the function of the operating system. And it's responsible for everything for handling the input when you give commands to the computer to process and allocating certain resources like memory, processing power. How does a computer know how much data to send to the CPU for processing? How does it know that? That's the work of the operating system. So the operating system tells the memory, okay, send this flash information for processing. Once processing is done, where the output needs to go, the operating system directs the output to where it needs to go based on the user instruction. So that process continue on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with the operating system handling all of those activities and how the communication and interaction is taking place between all of the different processes and devices of the system. So think of the operating system as your primary interface, the medium through which you communicate with your computer. Without an operating system, using a computer will be much more complex and less efficient. So you need the operating system to be used to use a computer. If you just buy a computer, if there's no operating system, you cannot use it. You cannot use it to perform a specific task. So to bring that computer alive, to be able to use that computer system, you have to install on top of the hardware an operating system. But then on top of the operating system, you have to install your application software. It's like you build a house. It has a foundation, that's the hardware. You raise the walls, that's the operating system. You put all the windows, the doors, and everything on the house. But it's just a house. You can't use it unless you break in the furniture. So the furnitures add the application software. So think about it that way, right? The OS is the house's software still in it. Right? The windows, the door, safeguard people from entering the house, whatever way they want to enter. The glasses, the windows, the floor, and everything else. Right? That is the system software. Then the application software, when you bring the furniture in the house, you bring the utensils in the kitchen, the beds in the room, enables you and allows you to use, your home the way you want to use it. So the operating system is really the heart of your computer experience. Next, we'll look at the different operating system and their features. Stay tuned. Don't go away. So let's dive deep. Let's dive a little bit into the features of the three most popular operating system: Windows, Linux, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. First up, Windows, known for its versatility. Windows boasts a wide range of software compatibility and is used in both personal and professional environments. So the key features of Windows has a start menu. Uh, it has a taskbar for managing open applications and it integrates with Microsoft Office. So I have a sample here on the screen. So you can see them a little bit bigger. That's a tax. That's a start menu. The start menu is where you click on the start. There's a button called start. If you click on that, it opens a long list of things that you can start from. What you want to do, it opens a list of applications, list of locations waiting for the computer. So it provides for you that list. And then at the bottom of the Windows screen, there's a little bar that's running at the bottom of the screen. You refer to that bar as the task bar. And that task bar, all it does, it hosts open applications and other apps that you want to use later on. You can pin them on that task bar so that you don't have to go looking for them later on to use them. You just see them right at the bottom of the screen. And you can really use them right there. Right. And then next is the Mac OS. The choice of many creative professionals, its sleek design and robust performance as its hallmark. Useful features include a dock for quick access to apps, file for file management, and seamless integration with the Apple ecosystem. So at the bottom there, I have I have two dock for Mac OS, but that's one of the features, the little features of a Mac OS is that it has a dock at the bottom. I give you easy access to the applications and making the applications from. And lastly, the Linux, it stands out for its security features and flexibility. Being open source, it allows extensive customization. So that's a Linux operating system interface. And so some of them look like some version of it. Yours might be different, and they have different versions of flavors of the Linux operating system. But it's known for its security, and it's an open source. Open source is that means that you can customize that application. You can custom not application, but the operating system to function the way you want it to function, not just the already made suit that's brought to you, right? So you don't want to order the already made suit that's brought to you. You want to customize the suit to what you want it to be, to your specific taste and to your specific function. So with Linux, you can customize Linux just for your needs of your need or your personal need or your business need. It, its diverse Dexter environments and robust terminal commands are a plus for those who like to tailor their computing experience. So those are just some of the basic features of the three most popular operating systems. And then we'll look at application software. We should talk about a little bit about them. But application software basically, uh, as we said, uh, would allow us to perform specific tasks or specific functions on the computer system. I can have my computer nicely set up. I can have my operating system installed. But if I don't install or put operating set up my application software on the computer, it's not useful. I cannot use it for anything else, right? So I have to install an application software on my computer system to be able to perform a specific task. And I give an example. Currently, right now, what I'm doing a podcast and I'm using an application software called StreamYard. So StreamYard will allow me to stream live video to my audience. If I want to send an email to a client, to a friend, or to my colleague at work, I can use Outlook, or I can use a Gmail, or I can use Yahoo. So that is an example of my application software. If I am an accountant and I want to do some budget, I want to do some statement, quarterly bank statement. I want to do my expense statement and all that kind of stuff, right? I'll need an application that will help me to perform that mathematical calculations. So in that case, in that situation, I can use a specific application software. In this case, I'll just be highlighting Microsoft Excel. So that is an application software for performing a specific type of task. The tasks that I perform in Microsoft Excel are not the same tasks I can perform in Microsoft Word. So I can type in both of them, but the flexibility with which I can do my budget in Microsoft Excel is not the same flexibility I have in Microsoft Word because they are designed for two very specific tasks. So that is just a basic overview of what an application software is. The tons of them for graphic designing, for lots of other functions that we perform either in our personal life, in school, or in our workplaces. So how do you choose? How to choose and install software applications? I've learned about a different type of software. Let's talk about choosing and installing them on your computer. Choosing the right software depends on your needs. And what are your needs? What do you want to do? What do you guys do in your office? What as a student? What kind of software do you need? Are you an engineering student? If you're an engineering student, what type of software applications do you need for your engineering class or for your engineering courses, right? Some of them might need AutoCAD for designing purposes because AutoCAD is a designing part for software for engineers. They use that a lot to do a lot of design. So AutoCAD will be something that you consider as an engineering student. Consider the tasks you need to accomplish. Do you need to write a report? Do you need to organize data? Do you need to create a presentation? Right? So what kind of job you do? What do you want to do? If you're looking at creating a presentation, then you're looking at Microsoft PowerPoint. If you want to create overall organized data, then you either be looking at Microsoft Access for creating, a data repository or the database that you can use to store your data. So look for software with good reviews and ensures it's compatible with your operating system. Check the system requirements too. This tells you if your computer has the right spec for running the software. So usually to install software on your computer, you have to make sure that your software is compatible with your computer system. So how do you know? Every software, it comes with specification. It will tell you, oh, this software, the minimum specification to install your system will be 8 gig of memory. The memory that is 8 computer has 8 gig memory. It has a storage space of not less than 2 gigabytes, and it gives you the set of specifications, right? Because what happens is that if you have a software with a high spec and your system does not meet that specification and you attempt to install that software on the system, either it's not going to install, or if it installs on your system, it's not going to work or function the way you want it to function because your system does not meet the minimum requirement to run that particular software. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. If you don't understand it, ask the expert, or you can go to Google and just search, right? Google gives us a lot of great, comes with a lot of great features on our do too. Once chosen, installing software is usually straightforward. Download it from the trusted source, then open and install it and follow it on screen. So we're not going to learn to install software, but I'll do another video where we can learn, we can see how we can install software on our system. But it's a very straightforward process. If I buy the software from a vendor, usually these days they used to come a lot of times in on a CD-ROM drive, but now that we have download, a lot of the companies, got download version, can download it straight to the internet and online, and you can just install it on your computer. It's straightforward. Once you download it from the where you bought it from, you'll see the instructions. Key is to read, and follow the instructions. You will get to it successful. And after installation, you typically find the application in your system's application menu or desktop, open it, and it's ready to use. So you can experiment with different softwares on your computer system. And that brings us to the end of our topic for today: introduction of basic computer skills. I hope this was exciting. I hope this was interesting to you and that you learned something from it, or you kind of refresh your memory about your basic computer skills. Just want to say thank you for watching. This is from ReThink Tech Foundation. You can find us on Facebook at ReThink Tech or on YouTube at ReThink Tech. You can also email us with your questions and concern at info@ReThink at gmail.com. Our website is still in construction. It's going to be available pretty soon. So again, thank you for watching. I've been your host and your presenter, receiver Jose Bono. You have yourself a wonderful night, a wonderful day, wherever you find yourself. Stay tuned for next, which we'll be looking at Microsoft Word sometime this week. Bye bye for my end.